Hola, me llamo Marco. I'm not Spanish, but you know me. Welcome back, everybody, to you know favorite movies that never had a sequel. Hopefully, ain't three in the place to be. Um, Last time I did this, the first movie was Forrest Gump. So, and I left a hint at the end of the last video, which was Styles, and from first hand knowing that my good friend Mr. Lone Wolf Kyle didn't get the hint. So basically, this Styles is a reference to a 1991 movie called Ricochet, starring Denzel Washington, John Lithgow, and Ice-T. Oh, and Kevin Pollak. Um, First time I saw Ricochet had to have been, I believe, maybe 2005 or 2006. And I think when I first saw it, I didn't see it all the way through. I only saw it from maybe the last 30 minutes. But then when it came on again, I actually watched it all the way through. Um, Ricochet is basically a crime thriller film, and I'm a big fan of crime thriller. I'm a big fan of a lot of movies, but stars a young Denzel Washington, and Denzel Washington plays the character uh, Nicholas Nick Styles. And the movie first starts off in 1983 when Nick is um, he is he's young and he's a LAPD officer, and he's a law student, and also he's getting into his young adult life, and you can see everything coming into play. You know, he meets his future wife, Alice, and he starts to deviate from his childhood friend Odessa, who Ice-T plays, while Odessa, drifts into the life of crime in South Central, you know, California, California, and that creates as you would expect, a rift, between the two, and then the movie shifts. No, then the movie goes into him and his partner, Larry Doyle, played by Kevin Pollak, patrolling a carnival, and while they are patrolling that carnival, another event is going on, and that's where we meet Earl Talbot Blake, played by John Lithgow, and his kiss ass accomplished um, oh god, Kim. And basically, at the time, Earl Talbot Blake was a hitman, and he kills drug dealers and stuff during that event, and while he basically catching the attention of Nick and Larry, they they apprehend him, and it comes down to Nick and Blake and a standoff, and typical villain, takes a hostage, and Nick does the unspeakable to get Blake to release the he drops his gun, he strips in public, takes off his uniform, he's all the way down to his underwear, and little did Blake know um that Nick had another gun and in his jock strap, and he shoots Blake in the knee, and the incident is caught on by a video by amateur videographer, and is it sent to television and everything, and catches the attention of LA district attorneys, and because of that, and making because Nick is now made into a local hero and whatnot, him and Larry are um, promoted to detectives. And then the movie shifts all the way 8 years later to 1991, where Nick is living a good life. You know, he's accomplished, and he's very accomplished. After having accomplished, career in crime, he now is a assistant district attorney, and is looking to get into politics. Starting off by having a fundraiser for the Watchtower. And while that's going on, he has a loving wife, Alice, and two kids. While that's going on, Blake is is in jail, and while he's in jail, he grows a psychotic, obsession and lust for revenge for Styles, and while that's going on, he starts to plan. I mean, this is how sick. Before I go, this is how sick the fixation and everything was. There's one part where you see on his wall, he's got the body of a um, of a cover girl, in a sexy pose, and he cuts off the head, and the head is replaced with Styles' head. That's how sick that Earl Tyler Blake got over, his revenge for Styles. And then he starts to plan his escape out of prison. And after having a fight with an Aryan Brotherhood member played by Jesse Ventura, he earns the respect from the leader of the the Aryan Brotherhood, um, the gang leader of the Aryan Brotherhood in that prison, and they're going to plan conspire a vicious and brutal prison escape during Blake's parole hearing. I mean, it's so vicious. There's one part where a security guard gets sliced down the middle by one of the electric saws. I mean, it's just vicious. And then there's one part when Blake is leaving with his attorney, and because Blake's got a suit on, everything, covering up, and next thing you know, they're leaving. And next thing you know, because there was one part where when Blake was still in bed, there was a bookkeeper who he asked for books, and next thing you know, the bookkeeper sees Blake, remembers, and he's like, "Hey, young fella, you remember me?" And Blake just pow shoots him. I'm like, "Oh, what that old man do to you?" And next thing you know, the attorney, Blake holds on to the attorney's wife. Next thing you know, by the way, pow, you're fired. I'm like, and then when it looks like the Aryan Brotherhood gang leader, and they do escape along with the kiss ass Kim. Um, Basically, Darren Burr thinks everything's all good, and Blake shoots him, kills him, and then shoots him in the knee. And then they take the truck that they left with, and him and Kim put the Aaron Brother leader in there, and they roll it off the cliff. And basically, what Kim also did was he replaced Blake's dental records with the Aryan Brotherhood leaders' records. And so now with Aaron Brother having a bullet hole in his knee, just like Blake did, and now the dental records are switched, you can expect coroner is now going to believe that, Blake is dead. He escaped, but he died trying to escape. So basically, Blake faking his own death. And then a couple of moments later in the movie, after Nick and Larry have a couple of drinks in the car, um, Blake catches up with Nick again, and Nick is surprised that Blake is still alive, and gets apprehended gets captured, kidnapped by Blake, and that's when things just get very, very bad for Nick. I mean, he's he's being regularly injected with heroin and cocaine. There's even one part where Blake hires a prostitute, and and she rapes Nick, who basically unconscious and stuff, fighting unconscious because he's so drugged up. It just gives, and they leave him on the street, making him look like a hoodlum, and you know it just gets, and then come to find out when everybody gets Nick find out that he has gonorrhea, and that creates distrust with his wife Alice, and this is one of the first movies I've seen where the villain's goal was not to kill the hero, and Blake even says that to him. Blake felt that that Nick owed him the successful life and career that he got, and also Blake's goal was not to kill Styles. It was to ruin his life to the point that he gets incarcerated. And so now Nick is trying to also he's trying to prove that Blake is still alive, and people are questioning his sanity because also the rape scene is actually is also recorded by Blake, and it gets sent to the public, and Blake interjects unrelated audio from when Nick was talking to I think a waitress, so it make it seem as though the never mind that Street Fighter reference. So it makes it seem as though the rape was consensual. It wasn't rape; it was consensual sex, and it just gets so. While Nick is fighting Satan, the only person that still believes him entirely is his old partner Larry. And when they go to apprehend a I think a bookstore, because again the bookstore is run by this another Aryan Brotherhood member, and I think he's giving false passports and whatnot. And it's funny, Nick beats the information out. It's funny, it got the bread. Hey, you a cop, you a cop. Then he gets punched again, and then they see Kim who bolts in, he bolts out, and Larry chases him, and then unfortunately Larry meets his fate, and he's shot by Blake. And here comes Nick, Larry, and Blake, throws Nick the gun, and Nick shoots, but the problem is, oh, now he's got his fingerprints all over it. So, and bizarrely, Nick doesn't even, maybe throw the gun in the trash, because now that Larry's dead, it makes it seem as though he killed his own partner. He just goes, he just bolts when the cops come and everything before the cops can get there. And so he's not even hiding evidence, so it makes it look like as though, he's he's a murderer. And basically, Nick goes on this plan, and he plans, okay, he's not going to give, Blake the satisfaction of seeing him, incarcerated and everything. So what Nick plans is fakes his own death. And it's funny, he's on top of the building that his friend Odessa, he basically calls Odessa, maybe it's hopefully his last friend that was, help him. And basically goes to building the drug building where Odessa, operated his drug stuff, and basically got Nick on top of the building. He's putting lipstick on, making himself look crazy because the media depicts him to be. And he's like, you know, get Ronald McDonald. I killed my own partner. Like, it's not gonna kill you. It's gonna kill me. And you got Blake sees it, and he's like, no, what are you doing? You know what you're doing? You're supposed to suffer for years and years. And um, and the building blows up while Nick goes down a fire escape, and when it blows up, they show the explosion in Blake's eyes. Next thing you know, you got John to go, no. it it leads all that leads to a final fight between Blake and Styles at the on top of the watchtower. But before that, because they captured Kim, Ice-T's boys, and you got Kim on there, and he's like, it's Styles, like I can't believe I've been kissing your feet and ass for this long. You're such a shit. You didn't piss him off. You didn't make him crazy. You pissed him off. You really pissed him off. So you got you got Blake shooting. He kills his own kiss ass boy. And I found Ricochet such a good movie. And funny, after it's all said and done, because I'm going to spoil the ending. I'm sorry, and I'm not really into spoils, but Blake is impaled by one of the protruding lines of and cords of the watchtower. And after, because basically Nick's plan was to, by doing that, we had all the media, the public, he basically expose Blake that is alive. And, in front of you got the new guy. Hey, isn't that old Terry Blake? And you see Blake's face looking down. Oh. And so after the fight's over, and Nick is basically freed from being accused of a murder and all this. He was right all along. You got Gail Wellens, who basically the same Gail Wellens from Dyer, which I found to be, when I read, I'm like, oh shoot, this is the same Gail Wellens from the first Dyer. So basically, Ricochet and Dyer take place in the same world. And she's like, Mr. Styles, you got anything to say? And here comes Nick. News at 11. Yeah. Turns off the camera. The screen goes back to Styles, you can't do that. We're live. We're live, huh? Gail, kiss my ass. And that's how the movie ends. And so Ricochet I really like Ricochet, and it was also because when I grew up, first time I saw John Lithgow, I think it was oh gosh, oh man, he played the alien, I think on Planet Rock. Oh man, forgetting the entire name, but I always thought he was just a comedic actor. So when I first saw Ricochet, I'm like, and he played the villain role so well. I'm like, with his faces and all the stuff he was saying, it was like, oh shoot, it makes you like, it's crazy how when you see a actor in this role for so long, you may be used to seeing them in this in this genre of theater, and then you see them you know shift into another one, they play it just as good. As like, whoa, it just shows how talented they are. And unfortunately, I found that Ricochet had mixed, a moderate, success in the box, because it came 5 weeks prior to 1991's Cape Fear, starring Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro, which kind of had the same, basically had this almost the same concept. Its only difference was that there's a couple of different, and unfortunately I haven't yet to see the 1991 Cape Fear, because anytime it came on, it just was going off. And now I barely see it on. Maybe I have to catch it on Netflix if it's on there. But yeah, that's Ricochet for one of my favorite movies. Don't forget, this is not by any order, no specific orders. Just came off the top of my head when I did the list. And be honest, when I first did the list, Ricochet wasn't on it at first. Unfortunately, actually, it wasn't even. Actually, what was supposed to come next with Forrest Gump was Independence Day, but unfortunately, Independence Day is gonna get 2 more sequels, and so I had to take Independence Day off the list. Because at the time, if I did the movie, if I did this video with Independence Day earlier, it still would have held up, because at the time it was still a movie with no sequels. But now it's gonna have sequels, and so unfortunately, Independence Day is now excluded from the list. But anyway, as the first video, there will be a hint in reference to what's the next movie. Also, but this is Hopeland 93. Telling you to stay true to who you are and accept yourself as you are. See you ladies and gentlemen.